Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. Today is a very special day and a long time coming. Genshin Impact 2.0. In this video, we are going to be reacting live to the first trailer, which someone, we maybe already seen it, but it'll hit different in the second time, probably the same way it did, or different, better, who knows. I couldn't help it. It was sitting there, it was morning, I was tired, I wasn't really ready to record, but I wanted to watch it. But anyways, and we'll break stuff down, and then we'll go over everything that was in the update. But I will say right at the top, this update made me miss the ever-living hell out of the English variant, because man, I do not, the subtitles are just moving. I'm not sure if you guys can relate. Some people watched it on Twitch and they had like actual edited in subtitles. I watched it on YouTube with closed captions, and fuck me, did they just, like, I was even reading fast and they just kept moving and I had to pause the thing 6 times. Anyways, rough. But anyways, a lot of what 2.0 is, at least the update video, is just talking about the design, the conception, the music of Inazuma, as well as characters and all that stuff. But a lot of what you're gonna kind of need is in this 5 minute and 9 seconds trailer. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out what we're gonna be doing in Genshin Impact for the next good bit, or at least the new zone.
And Liyue is the city of contracts. As for Inazuma, it's known as the Nation of Eternity.
It looks so good.
The almighty Shogun, focused exclusively on our single goal of implementing eternity.
Also,
I know of
the
a way
Japan
to introduce
aesthetic,
you to
the
the
weeb in
Shogun.
me, alright?
But
Don't
before
look at
that, there is one other place
Oh,
I
you
was
got that
hoping
fucking
you
big
both
ass
would accompany
statue.
me to.
I guess they have that in Mondstadt too, but it looks
When a
awesome.
person's ambition reaches a certain
See, but those
strength,
eyes on the wings
God
look
puts
evil as
upon
shit.
them with favor. In other words, a person's vision represents their ambition.
Character, we knew all of these. Well, some degenerates did. Anyway.
It must be a possession, right?
Ooh, Electro Traveler looking
see.
spicy, by the way.
Reminds
Sure we all know
me,
that.
It seems that his vision was recently confiscated.
It's just like that feeling of emptiness. The feeling that something is missing.
For to be stripped of one's vision is to be stripped of one's ambition. As one who is...
Sorry, I want to pause it. That's, so first of all, the overarching theme of Inazuma is going to have to do with his visions and all these kind of things. I love that, especially having, like, it reminds me of One Punch Man, where like in the world of One Punch Man, there's like this law of if you're passionate or if you're ambitious, it could even be ambitious. If you're really ambitious, you have like a goal or a dream to attain. In pursuit of that dream, you can attain like stupid levels of power. Hence One Punch Man had the idea of wanting to punch superheroes with one punch, be a superhero for fun. Don't worry about it. Regardless, but it also, in that show at least, has the, if your ambition ever turns into obsession, then you become a monster, which is interesting. But anyways, bottom line, love it. Love all this. The overarching story of like visions, trying to like what they're all about, and again the idea that they're all about ambition. Although I have heard a lot in the lore where it's also about like survival, like it's when they're on the very brink of death. That's tends to be when like gods give or bestow a vision onto their champion, I suppose. Regardless, it's continuing.
thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent his descent into the depths.
I guess it's like the overarching story of our sister like was led to despair or failed, so we're heading towards that same sad end, not realizing that Lumia has been here a while.
So, my intuition was correct.
Oh, she looks so good, but she is evil as fuck. I bet you that, my friend. I bet you that. She seems like a wretch, but she looks great. But she is not the main Archon person. A lot of people were like, and it's like, no, she's not the Archon. She's just a key political figure. I feel like she's probably going to be the person that fucks over the Electro Archon to take the little chess piece in their hearts, the Gnosis, or whatever
The wind
it's
that
called.
blows from afar carries fresh life to these shores.
Wonder how she knew about that. Maybe because she's working with the Abyss. Also, guys, I am just so excited. Oh, for that. Just for because my stupid brain is like, dude, one of my favorite things is introing a video when, like, it looks great. Like, we fucking set up a camera shot, it's playing out, and there's, like, fucking leaves behind me, or there's, like, glowing orbs behind me, and it's just, like, a nice smooth, like, it pulls you in. Anyways, a lot of the designs in this whole region look just breathtaking.
Perhaps in the eyes of a deity such as the almighty Shogun, the lives of those who inhabit the world are inconsequential. At present in Inazuma, in the name of the Vision Hunt Decree, the people's aspirations are being senselessly trampled underfoot.
Ayaka.
Thus, we cannot remain indifferent to this situation without also remaining indifferent to our own fate. Now, it is time for me to honor my word.
Hell yes. Okay, so good old Ayaka. We're gonna slow it down here, even though we're probably gonna go into this in further detail later on. But anyways, regardless. Also, when are we gonna get body types that are like that, tatted to shit and like giant, rather than these tiny? Because nothing in the game is like, the game is made to hold big people. Everything's huge. Anyways. Okay, so one of the things that they showed you right there is that Ayaka is just like ripping things to shreds. So for those guys who, well, maybe, possibly, this could be correct, could be false. I am just a lunatic on the online, meaning nothing. I am just, this is all speculation. I'm clairvoyant. I can see into the future. And that's why everything I've said about fucking things is correct, and I should be working for the FBI to save people or whatnot. Anyway, so right here, it basically just shows, you know, Ayaka doing a lot of, or mailing a lot. Ayaka is a very, very weird type of DPS. She's very cryo-based, maybe, possibly that, but she also is very similar to, potentially, maybe, Mona, where she'll ghost into the ground, combust in a big way, and unlike Mona, just kind of having this as a gimmick, Ayaka has this as a functional part of her kit, which might or may not amplify her damage when she comes up, basically combusting into cryo, and when she comes back, her weapon might possibly be imbued by cryo. Maybe, possibly, speculation. Regardless, okay, her alt, which we can see here, is basically a snowball or a snow globe, kind of like a venti alt, which is like swirling, and it'll progress forward, dealing a pretty hefty amount of damage. But it is also one of those things that's very similar to like a Diluc, I think, Phoenix, where it's going to keep going forward, and you're mainly there for that one instance of damage. It can hit really hard, but also I think it goes slower than Diluc's bird, so it theoretically could hit for more times, hence why it's a multi-hit kind of alt. This is the thing. Ayaka scales really well, which is why people are like, she's going to be maybe, probably, one of the best DPSs in the game if they don't freaking mess with her, which MiHoYo has never messed with a character besides Ganyu's cooldown, but that didn't mean that Ganyu wasn't still, even if Ganyu didn't have the cooldown, she would still be insane in the alt department. Anyway, so yeah, the speculation is that Ayaka is going to be the best DPS character in the game, or at least one of, because Melt can be huge, and just, yeah, also her scaling seems crazy. Maybe, potentially, possibly, I'm just a crazy person. Anyways, so yes, Ayaka seemed absolutely brutal.
And look for a fireworks shop run by the Naganohara family. There, you will find someone who can help you.
My God, dude, every person is like, oh, Yumi. And I know there's like these people who are Ayaka simps, which I get, because she's been in the game forever, and you've been waiting, and you know, your loyalty, commendable. But I wasn't a part of that, so I'm not even, yeah. But, ooh boy, Yomi is looking fantastic. Yomi Mia, kill me, regardless. Also, man, like Ayaka, I think is going to be the better character potentially, but like she's got style on style on style. You know what I mean? Where like Diluc, yeah, you're like, it's a DPS, you know. Klee's cute, but point is that the reason why I'm so excited for Yumi is because she seems like she is the epitome of style.
I'm Yumi. Great to meet you.
Okay, so right there, first of all, her design, crazy. Second thing, she's basically a fast bow attacking person, even as far as bow attacking people go. So her base, she can just shoot out a bunch of hits really, really fast, and right there is why she's a mixture of a Hu Tao and a Ganyu, and this is exactly why she's like a Ganyu. Right here. Okay, so maybe, but possibly, I can only infer from this that she is going to, her charge attack, same as Ganyu, she has a tier 2 charge attack, and when she does that, she summons forth, not one, or she doesn't times 1 or times 2 or times 3 her damage. No, she times 3s it. I'm the worst. I'm the absolute worst. She times 3s her damage, and it's massive. But not only that, but it scales up, it's pyro, it hits for better multiplication. Like it scales better is what I'm saying. And yeah, it is just crazy good. And not only that, but she might also be wielding one of the new bows that's coming with Inazuma that might be pretty fucking made for her, which is why if you are just getting into the game, I think Yumiya is going to be really perfect for a person who is going to wish on the banner, not only because she's coming with Sayu, which is a fantastic support, but also she has a weapon that's fucking perfectly made for her, and you don't need mass constellation incentive to use her and benefit from her. But also she has, like, we'll get it. Those 3 fireworks around her will actually heat seek onto enemies, maybe, possibly, who knows? Can we infer that from the trailer? Let's see. Well, kind of a close shot, but you know. The one thing I was worried about though was if like how aggressive is the tracking basically, and can you hit one person with all 4 hits, or is it like they'll try to divide themselves up if you do a charge attack? I don't know. Regardless, that's just great. The ability to apply fire with pretty decent scaling to multiple people, and if you can just single out one person, that makes her good for, like, yeah, she doesn't do AoE damage, but she can do multi-hitting damage for multiple enemies, but we'll see. Regardless, this is her E, which is only that I can only infer from the trailer, but as you can see, she already attacks fast, and I think this may give her a slight bit more of attack speed, or maybe it just makes her attacks do a shit ton more damage, which it does. Maybe. So yeah, she also, man, again, just style on top of style. She's flipping around, just firing out arrows. She's got like fireworks all around her. Her cosmetic design is perfect. Yeah, she's just like got copious amounts of style. Maybe, possibly, who knows? I'm just throwing things out into the ether and inferring a lot from nothing. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. Anyway, hit us with some Sayu. Also, it's a little loud. Yes, absolute cuteness. She's a wind user who turns into a ball and messes shit up. And the best way I can describe Sayu is she seems very similar to what like either a Fischl or a Bennett, but I would honestly wager she's more of a Bennett because she basically summons cute. So her E is this ball where she can run around, ping off of people, deal some damage. We don't know how good that scales because we don't know if it's going to require you to like hit, depart, hit, or if you can hit an enemy, bounce off that enemy, hit another enemy, bounce to the enemy you just hit, and ping pong. We don't know. But what we do know is her alt is a pet slash AoE kind of field, which both heals you and deals damage. Similar to Bennett, except instead of just being an attack buff for your entire party, it just attacks things outright. Which I don't know. This could be great, it could be really okay as well. It depends on if your pet can actually like hunt people out or if he is stuck in a zone, which when I look at the AoE, which you can barely see, it looks like he's stuck in the zone. So a little shitty with that one. I think they're like, we'll go and look at the characters in the like preview trailer, which will have better clarity. Anyways, back to the story.
To us, there was also the resistance on Watatsumi Island. Many who have lost or fear losing their visions have rallied together under Sango no Miya on Watatsumi Island to form a resistance group.
Yeah, so it very much seems like a classic. We just played a Ghost of Tsushima. Very much feels like the resistance arc kind of thing.
Remove all threats to eternity by
But
order
this-
of the Almighty Shogun.
This is where we're like, here's all these characters. So she works for the basically enforcement slash rip everyone's vision out of their chest kind of department. But she looks dope, albeit evil. Still very cool looking. Also, this is something that's really cool that they talk about within the design aspect. Basically, Inazuma, the goddess herself, killed a serpent, but because she's so goddamn strong, she split Inazuma in half with her sword anyway by killing this serpent. And apparently, the serpent is like, "Fuck you, bitch! In death, I'll torture you." And he's poisoned the land, which is why there's certain zones where if you touch the water, you die in a second. And I assume that's going to play into some factor of like why she's being a bitch and being evil and cruel. Regardless,
She's also a general in the Shogun's army.
The resistance?
there he is. Okay, so what do you call it? That guy is a potentially maybe Geo Archer, which is the first, and also he's an animal person, which is cool. But also, he's like a part of the resistance battle brigade, like the actual fighting
A
force.
ceremony, you say? Why would such a task
By the way, this is not spoiler stuff, Mahoyo. This is all stuff that you've said in your like dev talk sit down, which was quite long.
The wait is over, my comrade.
Another character. So she apparently is like an advisor of the Resistance. All these things. It's a water character. We got more water characters. I know. And this, my friends, if I'm not mistaken, is the god herself. Yes, the Electro God, which pretty intense. She's a god.
Upon this statue.
It's pretty crazy. And this is, of course, the title of the thing. I'm not going to pronounce the if that one. But yes, absolutely amazing, massive. And then, so we're going to talk about this stuff right here. Let's mute it. But basically, there's just a lot of like, here's some things that they just added around the region, which is like, here's some puzzles, here's some things that we're gonna have to do, which is fun. You know, stand in the right place with the electric being on you. Here's some new like weird things, like events. Basically, we're gonna play new enemies. You know, some new stuff within Inazuma, and then we also got the Theater Mechanicus is coming back, and stuff like that. And you know, it's neat. And then we got the Lost Riches event. Yeah, and then the Leyland's Overflow event. So this is where people started gassing out because people are like, oh, okay, sure. Oh, and new really expensive weapons. But apparently they have, this is something that's kind of good. They have tweaked the weapon banner. Long story short, they gave the weapon banner a really weak pity. So you build pity and you don't, if I'm not mistaken, you don't like, it's not like the character banner where if you get a 5-star that you don't want, or you'll get the banner character. I don't think it's like that. I think it's like every time you don't get the weapon you want, you build like 10%, 20% pity, 30% pity. So you still have to spend a fuck ton on the, so it's kind of, that to me is, I don't know enough about it, but it gives me a weird like, oh, you, like this is like blatantly, like, oh no, we still want you to spend $1,000 on a weapon, you idiot. So yeah, but you know, we'll make you feel a little less shit about it. And I'm like, well, fuck you, I don't want to give you anything, at least from that. Anyways, point being, there's a bunch of new weapons. This bow is looking really good for Yumi. A lot of these have to do with energy recharge, so just keep that in mind. Possibly, maybe, I'm a crazy person who knows just nothing. Anyways, next thing is, this is where people are like, okay, I can get these badass new artifacts to make my characters pop off, but you're like, what happens when I have that? Where can I use any of this? Anyways. So yes, energy recharge, this is basically a great support set. It incentivizes you having as much energy recharge as you possibly can to give you a massive bonus to your elemental damage burst, so your ult. But this does have a cap of 75 bonus damage to be obtained. So this is great for characters like Venti, maybe, with a weird kind of unique build. This is really good for maybe possibly characters like, oh, I don't know, Bido and stuff like that, which is really good. And, oh, I don't know, maybe the main traveler, maybe. Anyways, so this is a new artifact set made for a lot of people. And again, I like how they're getting more like open-ended with the perks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this could be used by a lot of people. This could be good but not great on some, you know, but if you're just starting out and you're farming this domain anyway because you're trying to get like a DPS or a main DPS kind of artifact set, then this could just be a nice consequence of your actions and you're not having to farm a bunch of other artifacts in the meantime, which can be good, especially if you're just getting into the game and don't want to waste your res on random nonsense. Anyways, this other one is just a very, very good, if your character does normal, charged, or plunge damage, it is going to buff that by 50%, but it is going to cost 15 energy of your ult. So you're not going to be able to, and then this takes effect every single time you activate your E. So you activate your E, and then you're going to be dealing 50% more damage. If you have a Shao, this kind of doesn't work though, because you need to get to your ult, unless you have like a Venti, or so you can like switch to Shao, activate a dash. Actually, no, this could work. You know, this could absolutely work, especially if you have like 90% ult, you dash, you'll activate this, you'll lower your energy by 15, but then if you're producing particles with that dash, so you'll suck up the particles and have your ult again, given you have enough recharge to at least get that, which you probably will. So, you know, even Shao can utilize this really, really, really well. In fact, this probably would be the best bet for Shao, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyways, cool, very cool. New artifact set to get. Again, begs the question, where are we going to spend that stuff on? And yeah, all right. I don't know if I'm going to basically cut out some of the like me talking about Ayaka and whatnot. Probably not. I'll probably just, because I don't know. It's exciting to have Genshin in the information sphere. I just want to talk about it. But regardless, yeah. So this is Ayaka. This is a better breakdown of what she is. Okay, so perfect. I should have waited because this is where like you get to see what she is. So right there, you just seen that she did a, oh god, this is what makes it horrible about doing this like this. But when she enters into the combat right here, she is doing that thing I told you about where she can go into the ground, burrow, and basically be a Mona. I don't know if it's going to be as clunky as Mona's. I'm worried it will be, which will be kind of a give and take with this character being as strong as she is. She might be a little bit of a nightmare to do that and, you know, sprint dodge, all that weird stuff. Anyways, point being is that when you go underground, you can now see that she's dealing cryo damage. That's what we can infer from, and I don't know about it, but yes. Anyways, also maybe her fourth attack is what you're maybe gonna be mainly trying to get. Anyways, so cool, all that. Yeah, so it does look like her fourth attack is just that, like, it looks like her E, but it's not. It's just like a quick slash, but that's kind of the whole point with the weird, you know, weave vibes. Regardless, this is her E. Yeah, this is a much better showcase of their actual abilities. Probably should have talked about them here rather than there. I'll trim it. Anyways, or maybe I'll just and do all that. I don't know. Yeah, so this is her E skill. We can see it right here. She pops it, puts it down a huge zone, dealing cryo damage. Scales pretty well. Again, it seems like her base melee attacks and stuff like that does a lot better scaling than this, but I could be wrong. Again, this is her ult though. Again, just basically throws this giant snowball at the enemies and just chews through them. We actually seen a better gameplay example prior, so we'll probably keep that in there. But this is the girl that is just too damn cute. This is Yoimiya. She very much seems like her character archetype. By the way, Ayaka's is like diligent, beautiful, and caring, just all around lovely, nobility, all that stuff. But Yoimiya is very like has the childlike wonder in her heart, tries to protect people's dreams, and what do you call it? Is like creative, incredibly creative, which sounds like everything I like, but she does her hair, the hair bun does make me get like art student vibes, which is a whole thing. Anyways, let's get into her kits. Also, this is her idle animation, so fucking cute. She just also again, it looks so. She's gonna be a character that just looks fantastic. Okay, so right here, again, better breakdown of the fact that when you hold charge, you launch 3. I don't know. Okay, this is a perfect example. Let's see how aggressive. Okay, no. Okay, so all of them heat seek, I think, on multiple targets, but in this instance, it heat seeked on one because it was only one enemy. But regardless, that was my worries. I was worried like you're gonna fire 3, but they can heat seek to different enemies and not one individual enemy. Which it looks like it can, and it'll focus on that. And anyways, this is her E. Basically puts her into a fire dance, which is similar to Hu Tao's like fire dance as well, except she has endless range. One thing to note though is when you are in your fire stance, maybe possibly you can't use your charge attack anymore, but you're gonna have 8 seconds of downtime maybe on this skill, so you're going to fall back on your charge attack or queue up other people's abilities like a Venti, like a Bennett, like a whatever Shinsho, get them all primed, ready to go, so when your fire dance is activated again, you can just seamlessly fire back into that. Anyways, yes. And this is her ult. Okay, so this is what I was trying to find because I knew I seen it. I knew they showed it. It was crazy. So this is her elemental burst. So as you guys can see, she jumps in the air and like decimates the whole ground. I do believe this can only be on one singular enemy. And then when you have defeated that enemy, it will cycle to another. So as you guys can see, Yomi puts this kind of weird like fire yin and yang kind of following itself circle. And again, maybe, possibly, kill me. Just a guess, just a good old guess, amplifies the damage that enemy takes, but not by Yoimiya, but instead by everybody else. So again, this is what I think, in my opinion, makes any sort of like consistent damage dealer ult, Venti, other wind boy, I never can remember his name, or Sucrose. In fact, Sucrose could be great because she can amplify elemental melt and all these things, because yeah, mastery is a big thing now, but Venti can do that in a way as well, as long as you imbue it with cryo. Anyways, so yeah, great, fantastic, all that. So, but again, she can't utilize it, so the playstyle seems like you want to switch off of her, which you don't have to. You just need to have other characters that can deal great deals of damage whilst that thing is on them. And characters can also CC, have value, so that you're like basically 1 drops, 2nd drops, 3rd drops, because when one enemy dies, it moves to another, up to I think 4. So I hope it goes to a big enemy and not a tiny one, because that would be shitty if you had a bunch of little ads on the goddamn ground and it went to all of the tiny ads and not the big ass enemy. Anyways, this is lovely jubbly Sayu, who's looking absolutely adorable. So we can see here that she's a ping pong ball, or a little roly-poly ball. She just runs around, hits people, does some good animal damage. It's fine, honestly. Doesn't seem like it scales crazily hard. But this is the business. This is why I say that she's very much like Bennett. It's because of her Yohu art. She puts down this cute little teddy bear / actual... No, definitely not a real thing. But anyways, so he can attack, and also, as we've seen there prior, it was a bunch of healing, so there's a healing zone. And if you have Sayu at a base, maybe possibly, it will heal you up to a point similar to Bennett, and when you're past that point, then your little friend, your little pet, will then start attacking. But if you have maybe, possibly, Constellation 1, they'll do both. So again, if you're going for Yumi, you're probably going to get a lot of Sayu and get a character that can heal you, add damage, and also be a traversal kind of character, because I think you can roly-poly for a very long time, which will be great for, running around the map and all that stuff. Hoping that it doesn't have fall damage when you, roll off a cliff. We'll see how that plays. Regardless, cool, that was a better breakdown of the characters. And then they start talking about, other characters that are to come. Like, this guy is very involved with the, with Ayaka's kind of branch or clan. I do believe he is a 4-star. This character I do believe is going to be a 5-star, and he is very much, again, a Geo archer, which is going to be great, I think, if he scales well. I hope he's a DPS, because we still don't have... Ninwang is the only, Geo DPS that I can think of. Albedo and Zhongli aren't. Unless I'm missing one of them, but no, I think it'd be cool if we had, another archer that was a Geo-based archer, and maybe he'll be... I don't know. We'll see. I don't have no idea. No one knows what he is. Well, no, some of you guys know what he is. I'm not that deep into degeneracy, the pit of leaks, which I love you. All right, you guys keep me excited for the future, okay? And this person, they kind of talk about how she's, mysterious and all this weird shit. Also, if you want any of these codes, we always post them the second the thing goes live in the Discord, because our community is fucking broken and lovely. And yes, and then a lot of this. Okay, so now we're just gonna full send it with this. All right, let's talk about everything, because we talked about the main pillars, which to me is the characters which are coming. And then the main content, and this is kind of what I want to talk about. By the way, just a little shameless hype for myself. I'm 2 of 2. I predicted that Ayaka was gonna come before Yumi, because it just made sense, and y'all were like, no, and I won't let that go. Anyway, then the second thing was that I thought that 1.6 was gonna be bigger than what people thought. I thought they were going to do it right, because, they learned from Dragon Spine, and if they didn't learn anything from that, then they'd be shitty. They'd probably put more chests, put more activities and more puzzles and all these good things there. I thought it would just be bigger than what people have been thinking. Anyways, and my third prediction, I want to see if I can go 3 of 3. But before I do that, I want to talk about what people are kind of worried about with Inazuma. I know everyone's very excited, but there's also a good bit of people who are very, very worried, because what people are seeing is the events look very, very weak, weak ass events. We got the Leyland's Overflow. The only one that seems a little hefty is I forget the name of it, but it's it's tower defense. The tower defense one seems like the only one that could maybe have a great deal of heft. Other than that, a lot of them seem to be things like, hey, Leyland's Overflow, you're getting more materials from doing a Leyland's. Okay. Or the Lost Riches one, where it just seems like, oh, we're gonna be able to find get one more Steely that's now purple. Okay, and we're just running around collecting random stuff in an area. Okay. But I think that's because of 2 reasons, and this is my prediction aspect of it. I think that MiHoYo has made this, and I think it's also a little unfair for people to ask more of what we're going to basically get in this instance, because how development, I believe, in games works is people are divided up into sections, especially when it comes to, there's a section where they're making events, and then there's a section of the community or team that is developing a whole new region with where chests are going to be located, where puzzles are going to be implemented, where the story is going to intrinsically make sense within itself, and to expect that MiHoYo is going to be able to react within that same team's content in like doing what the live service team I'm sure is aware of, which is that we need meaningful continual content to play that makes us feel like we're progressing and feeling like we're getting rewarded enough, but we can also keep investing time in this game. That's what the live team knows, and they've been doing that with 1.6. 1.6 is a pretty good testament to, okay, now we're getting boss rush, all that shit, the vagabond sword shit. They're listening really well. But the team that is not a part of that, that's a part of the overarching kind of game of Genshin, is the one that's been working on Inazuma. So I think that the content for 2. Whatever, at least the first half of it, is going to be the Inazuma. We're going to be running around getting chests, unlocking shit, figuring out, getting new weapons and artifacts and new characters and all these kinds of things, and just having a whole new world to explore and a bunch of new story to dig into. And then we're going to have these kind of bullshit side quests, which are, you know, crappy events that don't really seem like they're going to pull our attention, but that's because hopefully all of the other work, the puzzles, the information, and the chests and stuff, not information, chests, will take our time. So for me, I'm waiting to be disappointed, because 2.0 is just, hey, we got Inazuma. 2.1 is where I'll be really like disappointed or excited, because to me that is when the live team, hopefully, fucking for the love of God, has any sort of like directive for success when it comes to this specific kind of weirdness, where again, meaningful, feeling like you're progressing kind of content, which I feel like so many people are in desperate need of within Genshin. Whether that be like a multiplayer Spiral Abyss, which would help, I think, 20% of the Genshin community, if not 15%. But I think what would help a much more broader group of people is just something that you can do over and over again, like maybe a repeating event. I know some people have echoed that could be great, but mainly something that you feel like you are meaningfully progressing in. And to me, like, again, a great example of that is, and this is kind of something that I wish I had more of in the game, is I don't want caps on things. I hated when you started doing city reputation and then eventually you got to level 10, and then there was no point to do that again anymore, besides to get like a small amount of Mora every week if you wanted. To me, why not bump that up to, yeah, like the best rewards are the first 10, but then we are going to increase it by 50 levels or 40 levels, and instead of it being like, here's a handful of Mora, here's a handful of Primo Gems, instead it's going to be like, okay, now every single week when you come back to the Adventurers Guild in this city, they're going to give you 10% of the profits, which is this much Mora, and then you can increase that with every level so that it feels like maybe not a lot, but you're meaningfully making a difference, where if you just put in the work and then you stop, if you are burnt out, then you can come back every week and take your like basically monetary help for the city every week and feel like, okay, well, this has yielded me something and it is meaningful because it is giving me a little bit constantly and making me feel like I want to engage and stay in this world and feel like I am progressing and my actions have meaning in this world, rather than me just getting a handful of stuff, which inevitably is going to make me feel like I have nothing more to gain when there is nothing more to grab. So to me, that is a fundamental issue within the whole system, which I'm hoping will get fixed within coming updates. Also, one thing I didn't mention, which is pretty huge, is the Serenity Pot is going to allow you to plant seeds, but apparently you need to get a fucking gadget to get it, and then go pick up seeds with that gadget, which is ass. Why can't I just use my fucking plants to use as seeds? It just is weird. It's like, why am I what is this? Apparently we have to go hunt for a whole mess of seeds when 2.0 comes out. So if you happen to have like a bunch of peppers, fuck you gotta go get more peppers. Or but those fuckers on the side of cliffs, guess what? You gotta go get a stupid box, go grab some seeds, and then your character will take an individual seed out of that thing and put it in there. Good news is hopefully it doesn't, you only gotta do this for a little bit. But this seemed like a weird ask. Anyways, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was me ranting and raving about Inazuma. Very, very excited. There's a lot to come. A lot of it seems like, again, my prediction, if I didn't make myself clear, my prediction is that 2.0 will be basically, like 90% of the content is the zone, which I think a lot of people can infer. But I'm hoping that means 2.1 will mean that there's hopefully going to be a response to the constant ask of MiHoYo to give us consistent, meaningful content like I just rambled about, whether that be like a dungeon that is randomly generated, what's going to be obvious about what's different, but still something. But again, the rewards need to be sufficient in order for you to make you feel like you want to do it, even if that's just like Mora and 1 experience book for doing it like twice, or if there is just a reason. Like, one of the things I think they could do really well is if they added like a battle arena or a dungeon or whatever, but when you killed enemies in that dungeon, they dropped their resource material, which would be good, which would make you feel like, oh, I'll farm this just because I need this material, or hey, it's something to do that is going to help me. But eventually you'll just have 1,000 or 200,000 of the like hilichurl masks, which most of you already do. Which is why I think they should add some sort of weird like cauldron, which I don't think would be too far out the realm of the Japanese aesthetic of like throwing a bunch of random bullshit masks and tribute into a shrine or a cauldron, and then spit out random stuff like, here's some Mora, here's some experience books, but it could be a cycle of progression, and then maybe each time you invested in it in 1 week, it lowers the rewards you're going to attain. So if you start just farming endlessly this loop at the last day of the week that you're putting thousands of masks in there, it's going to give you nothing. That way it gives you something to do, but it doesn't make you feel like you're missing out if you're not doing it. In fact, it feels like, yeah, maybe just do this a little bit, or maybe just save this for the weekend to grind out the first little rewards or whatnot. Or maybe just grind your ass off and then wait to deposit all of your masks and the rewards to be efficient. Stuff like that, I think, could be very, very huge for the game's longevity and feeling of progression, because, yeah, I think that's what it desperately needs, and I'm hoping to see that in 2.1, but let's see if I'm correct, see if I can go 3 for 3. But right now I'm feeling like Inazuma is, again, people are disappointed with the events, but that's because hopefully the main area itself is enough to hold you over for maybe a month, which seems like a little bit of a long time, but we'll see. Anyways, again, holding out hope for 2.1, but we'll see. Again, who knows? Could be a little bit disappointing, but we do know we got a bunch of characters on the horizon that look very interesting and very different. And I can't wait. But I mainly can't wait for Yui Mia, because oh boy, I can't wait. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you guys are as excited as I am for the future of Genshin. Regardless of where this story ends, I will still cover it, enjoy it, and play the shit out of it. The only thing I might depart on is how vigorously I can play, because that's kind of what I think everyone is stuck in this limbo of, like, I want to play, but there's nothing to play. And if it is, it's only 10 minutes a day, and it would sure as hell be nice to do other things. Yeah. Anyways, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again, and goodbye.